Hi everyone, welcome to the January update of the Year of Stash 2025. My name is Carmen from New Leaf Designs, and in this video I'm going to be weighing how much yarn I used this month, how many grams I actually knit up in my projects. I have been a busy bee. This challenge is really motivating me, but I haven't weighed my projects this month, so I don't actually know if I've made that much progress. I thought I would start off with my brioche fade shawl, which is probably the project that I did least on because it was just like a couple rows. I'm really loving this project. It is just a very simple brioche pattern. If you're interested, I will write up the pattern, but it's mostly the colors that make it so good. I have my trusty scale here. Then I also have some things that will help me actually weigh my items, because you know, the scale is very small. And the way I'm going to measure progress on this project is by looking at the weight that it was at the start of January, or when I picked it up. It was 460 grams, so I won't be counting that. That's where I started from, and that's including the needle. And now to balance it on the scale, and we have 484. So that's just over 20 grams, and I'll be adding it up at the end. So again, this is a really simple project. I do have the I have the base pattern on my Patreon. I taught a couple of brioche classes on Patreon last year, and the instructions for this were included, but it's a very simple pattern. It's just two, you know, it's basically just single color brioche back and forth over 140 stitches, maybe less, and changing colors every once in a while. It's really the colors that make this really good, and it's a good project to do if you have a lot of leftovers and a lot of colors. So I also knit 3.5 socks, which are a secret project, so I'm not gonna be able to show you, but I do have 3 separate socks here and one on the needle. They're all single socks, so I'm not knitting a full pair, and one of them is still on the needles, but I did weigh my needles and they're about 7 grams. So I will just weigh those all together. Well, first I want to weigh one to see, keeping it out of the screen, to see how much it weighs. Okay, so one is 47 grams. Okay, we have 161, so that minus 7 is, I should be able to do this, 154? 154. Hey, Mama. Then I've got my new cast on, which is my Advent cowl with all of these lovely yarns. And the Advent cowl, the pattern is up on my Patreon as well, including the tutorial video. It's a very fun cowl, and you can knit it with minis because each stripe takes about 10 grams, but of course you can make it as long as you want. I just knit the first stripe until the yarn was, until I used it up. And I'm using loads of, well, I want to say scraps, but it's mostly just like single skeins in my stash. And again, I've weighed these needles, they're 7 grams. So we will weigh the rest. 35 minus 7 is 28. And now my biggest project of this month is my granny square blanket. I have been crocheting on this so much and I started with this project because, you know, people always say crochet uses up more yarn, and I do think that's true with double crochet and like the speed you can use things up. Now I have added squares to this blanket already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be weighing the yarns in this box, because that's what I weighed at the start. So I weighed my yarns and they were 1,204 grams. So I just need to get everything out and weigh just the ball of yarn and see what the difference is. I made so many squares. All of these squares are new, and I added 1 row to the blanket already. Okay, maybe I'll just use this box. Okay. Okay, there we go. This must be some of the most exciting footage ever to be launched on YouTube. Okay, so at the start of this month, it was 1,204 grams, and right now it's still 1,000. 1,029. 1,029. Okay. So, the difference is 100. No. Okay. 175. That's less than I was expecting, because that's almost the same as I used up with the socks. And 3.5 socks seems like less than the huge amount of squares I crocheted. Anyway, so let's see, we have 175. Oh, and then we have 4. Can I get a drum roll, please? I've used up 381 grams in January. Is it more or is it less than I thought? I think it's a little bit less than I thought, but when you think of it, it's almost 4 entire skeins of yarn. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And I think definitely because I've been focusing on the socks, which, you know, for the hours of knitting, it doesn't use up as many grams as, you know, if I would have spent all of those hours on the blanket. Because for the blanket, I think I just worked on that for the first week and then the rest on socks. The brioche shawl, I used up 24 grams for that, but that was only like two afternoons that I spent on that, so maybe that's where I need to be spending my days with. but the socks have priority because that's a project I need to pop in the post, and and you'll see it sometime this year. So that's the end of January. I am really excited to hear if you participated in during this month as well for the year of stash. So the year of stash is basically I want to knit up as much of my stash yarn as I can. If you want to see the year of stash video, I will pop that right here or here probably. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this, and I will be back next month with another update. I'd love to see you then, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.